Estonia is one of the 3 Baltic states. It's located right along the Baltic Sea coast, just south of Finland. Its neighbors are Russia to the east, Latvia to the south, and then the Baltic Sea surrounds the west and northern coast of Estonia. There's about 50 miles between Helsinki, Finland, and Tallinn, the capital of Estonia. Estonians are Finno-Ugric people. They are related to the Finns, the Hungarians, and small tribes that are living part in Russia and in Latvia that all speak the Finno-Ugric language. Estonia is about the size of New Hampshire and Vermont together, and there's just under 1.5 million inhabitants in the country. Visiting Estonia, it's about 2.5-hour drive from north to south, so you can get a sense of the size of this country. It's rolling hills, farmland, and lots of forest. In the springtime, the forests are filled with blooming lily of the valley and many other wildflowers. Where we're going to be focusing today in our class is the west coast of Estonia, the town called Haapsalu. And it was in that town that this lace knitting tradition began. In the 1830s, the people of Haapsalu discovered they had curative mud in the area. And so there were spas and sanatoriums built that started to attract tourists. So tourists would come to Haapsalu for the summer from Russia. It was a time when Estonia was ruled by Russia. And so there would be wealthy tourists from St. Petersburg, Moscow, and also from Scandinavia coming to Haapsalu to enjoy the summer. The ladies in Haapsalu were inspired to start knitting these lace shawls from probably shawls they saw the tourists wearing coming from Russia, or perhaps it was an idea that was brought to Haapsalu by Swedish people who lived in the area off the coast of Estonia. There were Swedish villages even dating from the 1300s and on the west coast of Estonia. When the ladies in Haapsalu started to knit the shawls, they were very simple. They were made of hand-spun wool yarn, and they had very simple patterns and really no edges. This shawl is one that I bought in Estonia, and I believe that it might be similar to ones that were made in the early part of the shawl tradition, the lace knitting tradition. The early shawls were made with simple patterns and no added edging. The edge on this shawl is just garter stitch, and it's a very simple pattern in the middle of fern leaf lace. The yarns that they used originally, traditionally, were hand-spun wool from their own sheep, and it was either a single, such as this one, or a plied yarn, 2-ply. Later on in the 1800s, late 1800s, they were able to get mill-spun yarns, and the yarns then became finer and the shawls were more airy. The tools that they used, they made themselves. The needles were made of lilac wood or apple wood, and they were hand carved. They were sanded and oiled with sheep's wool to oil them. The needles were about 8 or 9 inches long, and the sizes they used traditionally were about a US 2 to a US 4. And all of the shawls that they made were made on needles like that, traditionally. So these short, single point needles. This is a bag that the ladies in Haapsalu today, they would keep their knitting and their yarn and needles in a bag like this and carry it on their wrist with their knitting in.